Hello and welcome back to Digital Asset Daily. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are. Tonight's video is going to be a little fun. I'm going to share a little perspective on where I see the potential for XLM from Stellar and XRP from Ripple, where they are headed. And I classified them that way for the new investors. As we get into the articles, a billionaire investor says the central banks will stop at nothing to clamp down on Bitcoin. I want to get into just a little bit. The headline says a lot, but Frank Giestra, the billionaire investor and mining financier, is warning that governments and central banks are going to do everything they can to stifle Bitcoin's journey towards universal adoption. In a Stansberry research interview with Daniela Camboni, Giestra points out that if central banks succeed in issuing their own central bank digital currency, the CBDC, they're probably not going to want competition from Bitcoin. And we're going to show you exactly how that's playing out and where we are headed. Augustin Carstens from the Bank for International Settlement says Bitcoin might break down altogether. So as we get into this article a little bit, Bitcoin is inherently risky and only central banks should issue digital currencies, according to the Bank for International Settlements. Investors must be cognizant that Bitcoin may well break down altogether because the system becomes vulnerable to majority attacks as it gets close to its maximum supply of 21 million coins. BIS General Manager Augustin Carstens, he said in a speech for the Hoover Institution on Wednesday, and Carstens, who runs the Basel-based central bank for central banks, has often been critical of Bitcoin, which surged 300% in 2020. So the trouble with stablecoins, such as the one initially proposed by Facebook Inc. and backed by traditional currencies, is that a private entity is responsible for maintaining the asset backing, raising governance issues. And then into the next article here, we have the digital currencies and the future of the monetary system. And this is a 17-page article, but there's a few things that I would like to actually break down. It's 17 pages and there's a lot of content inside to cover. But what I did is break down a few of the things that I thought was really exciting about it. To me, a major point of discussion in this is it states there are two types of central bank digital currencies. The first being the wholesale realm of payments between financial institutions and large commercial parties, which we've discussed is the focus of XRP. That's sort of where Ripple has planned and intended from day one. It is meant to be the wholesale tier of the financial institutions. As there are two tiers, you have wholesale and retail. It's not going to be new to you if you've followed this channel for a while because we discuss this quite often. But as they get into the discussion, and what they discuss is basically the disruptive capabilities. Again, digital central bank money for wholesale purposes already exists in the form of central bank reserves, he states. But the privately issued wholesale digital currencies, also called utility tokens or wholesale stablecoins, again, as the Bank of Canada has already labeled XRP, and a few other central banks have placed XRP in that same category. But they still depend on central banks for the finality of clearing and settlement, like the stablecoins they discuss throughout the articles. They still have like an umbilical cord connecting them to the existing financial system. And the second type of digital currency is in the retail space. It's where the real disruption basically lies. The retail digital currencies could be used in daily transactions by households, businesses, and depending on their design, they could upend existing financial system. So that's a part that I would like to discuss too and get into throughout the rest of this video to show and explain. But another point in this article too, he discusses where the for example, developing the CBDC comes with a host of technical, legal, and economic issues that warrant careful examination before the issuance. And central banks, the guardians of stability, will proceed carefully, methodically, and in line with their mandates, he states. And issuing a CBDC is a national choice And wherever issued, CBDCs will be an additional payment option that coexists with private sector electronic payment systems and cash. And then we've heard again Brad Garlinghouse many times stating how this will basically work alongside the current financial system and alongside of cash. And we've heard the same thing from Danielle Dixon, how basically they want to become the new digital currency and how it can work alongside the current financial system. It just improves it. So again, you hear that they coincide with the discussion that is going on globally with the central banks. And it's very exciting to see them get closer and closer as they discuss this now as a common discussion with CBDCs and the fintech. But again, into the article, they do discuss the issues such as the digital dollarization and the potential role of CBDCs in enhancing cross-border payments that need to be addressed in like a multilateral forum. So the BIS is going through an international discussion and ensuring that central banks can continue learning from one another to cooperate on the key issues and the design of the central bank digital currencies. So he states in this way, the central banks can work together to support digital money ready for the economy of the future. So to me, it's a very extremely bullish article, and it was a little extensive, but it was great to read. Again, these are stated remarks by Augustin Carsons from the Bank for International Settlement. Now, another discussion here, we have the President Biden freezing the FinCEN proposed crypto wallet regulations. And that's something, too, that we had discussed, how they were trying to regulate the self-custody crypto wallets, etc. Now, going into that article, once the President Biden had removed the freeze, Apple now updates the iOS to fix crypto wallet security vulnerabilities. So you can see how this is beginning to link up and work together. The next article, we have scams are driving South African authorities to regulate crypto trading. I just grabbed one of many, but across the globe, there are internationally consistent articles and stories that are stating regulating crypto. We need regulatory clarity, almost echoing Brad Garlinghouse, the Ripple CEO. So again, here you have it, the financial sector conduct authorities demanding tighter regulatory control over cryptocurrency. Again, you're going to have pros and cons. You need regulatory clarity so that they can legally do what they're designed to do. But again, when you have these regulations, there's going to also be the other side, the mirror imaging of what you're getting from the opposition. So SEC's crypto mom demands innovation and says you can't prosecute an algorithm. The commissioner of the SEC, Hester Pierce, told an audience at the CFC 2021 that crypto regulation should be focused on innovation and that U.S. should be number one. So again, here explaining more how we're going to move forward and speed up the progression for crypto regulations and regulatory clarity. Next thing here, we have the public policy for big techs and finance, again from Augustin Carsons at the BIS. This article here, it's discussing the entry of large technology firms, the big techs into the financial services holds the promise of efficiency gains and can enhance financial inclusion. But the growth of their services raises questions on whether and how the regulatory framework needs to adjust. So again, I wanted to highlight a little bit there of how the regulatory clarity is going to be, again, progressing quickly throughout the rest of the year. Now here, getting into my whole perspective of why XLM is a great asset for the retail side and aspect of the two-tier banking system. And then we're going to quickly get into the XRP perspective of why it fits excellent for the wholesale aspect of things. So Signal is experimenting with Stellar-based cryptocurrency. In the report, the private messaging app has explored its own digital payments offering, pursuing a strategy similar to other tech players. Signal is reportedly experimenting with its own digital currency. As per report, However, such a payment offering will not be a straightforward process, its CEO said. The app saw its user base double within the past month on the back of privacy woes of WhatsApp. So private messaging app Signal is said to have conducted experiments for a cryptocurrency offering for users, as per a report by technology newsletter Platformer earlier today. Experiments for such a token project were done on MobileCoin, a privacy cryptocurrency based on Stellar, the world's 11th largest blockchain by market cap. And the Signal CEO, Moxie Marlinspike, has served as an advisor to MobileCoin, indicating how the two projects could have overlapped. Then we have Stellar Development Foundation investing $5 million in crypto payments firm Wire. A Wire integration will introduce a variety of APIs that can be used by financial apps on the Stellar network. So the Stellar Development Foundation, SDF, has invested in blockchain payments company Wire to boost support for financial applications in the Stellar ecosystem. The foundation said the $5 million USD enterprise fund investment in Wire will introduce a variety of payment application programming interfaces, APIs, that can be used by apps on the Stellar network. Their on and off ramps for the stablecoin USDC will also be introduced for existing fiat currency pairs, including USD, UK pound, sterling, the euro, the Canadian dollar, and the Australian dollar. So Wire was founded in 2013 and offers a number of services, including fiat to crypto on-ramps, wallet infrastructure, compliance, forex, and savings accounts. Adding Wire to the Stellar ecosystem will create a key payment infrastructure and enable relationships connecting international financial systems, the foundation said. So again, what I wanted to do there is show how Stellar connects to the retail side of things, to you and I, to the end user, to the customer. And then we're going to go into a little how Ripple works more so on the wholesale as its prime focus. So ParaHub leverages on Stellar Network to make remittances affordable and accessible. And in the ParaHub, one of the country's leading cash and payment-related transaction centers, it sealed its partnership with Stellar, an open-source blockchain network that connects the world's financial services institutions to provide reliable and secure remittances at low transaction fees, supported by SDF, the Stellar Foundation, which is a non-profit organization that supports the Stellar network. So ParaHub customers will soon be able to claim remittances sent from Singapore through Ching, a Singapore-based fintech digital payments company, at any of ParaHub's 3,000 plus locations nationwide. So the service will consequently be available on ParaHub's digital remittance platforms in both ParaHub and Stellar's network, allowing both to leverage the technologies being provided by Stellar. So in the pursuit to advance business and communities, ParaHub and Stellar aim to empower people to transact across borders and across different currencies at a low cost and at the fastest speed available through Stellar's network. The Stellar network strives to create equitable access to the global financial system to unlock the world's economic potential through blockchain technology. So today, Stellar is helping reimagine the world of remittances so they are faster, more affordable, and empower people and businesses with services they need. We're thrilled to work with ParaHub to offer an alternative to the traditional system that reduces the friction and costs, says Mark Hanen, the Vice President of Business for Stellar Development Foundation. Now we're going into Ripple. The former Ripple board member tapped to lead Biden's OCC. So former Treasury official Michael Barr is reportedly among several people being considered to replace Brian Brooks. And Michael S. Barr, a former Treasury Department official and one-time member of Ripple's board of advisors, is likely to become the next comptroller of the currency, the Wall Street Journal reported on Wednesday. Now, the reason I wanted to highlight this and point this out is because it tends to be when someone leaves Ripple, they go to a very powerful position somewhere, or if they leave a powerful position, they tend to end up back at Ripple. And that is very exciting to see. But here we have Citi extends its partnership with Volante for ISO 20022 migration. So Volante Technology is a global provider of payments and financial messaging solutions in the cloud and city treasury and trade solutions, has announced deepening their long-standing relationship to accelerate the bank's adoption of the ISO 20022 financial messaging standard across its global payments operations. And the shift to ISO 20022 is gathering steam in major payment market infrastructures. Instant payment rails and swift cross-border payments are making the move. And under the partnership, Citi will be the first Volante customer to offer a unified approach to ISO 20022. A unified approach to ISO 20022 migration across the globe. Citi will be building its core ISO 20022 capability using Volante's VolPay for ISO 20022 migration solution. Volante's payments processing solutions are already an integral part of our payments and transaction banking platforms, and using this technology will allow us to simplify the complexity of mandatory ISO 20022 migrations across the many markets in which we operate. We will be able to serve our clients even better by catering to their complex needs, said Nick Neguda, the global head of technology with Citi's Treasury and Trade Solutions. The integrated solution will enable the sending and receiving of ISO 20022 messages and the usage of the ISO 20022 enhanced data throughout the transaction lifecycle for sanction screening, AML monitoring, reporting, and reconciliation. Now, as we move into the next and final article for this video, I know it was a lot of stuff, guys. Thanks for hanging around and sticking it out until the end. Now, here is the next article, Volante, the VolPay Ripple Processor Module. It speeds the integration to the Ripple Global Settlement Network. So you can see how this is a big deal as it connects directly to Ripple. So Volante's VolPay, the Ripple Processor Module, simplifies the connection to Ripple's near real-time payment and settlement network. The introduction states that Ripple is the new distributed ledger-based global real-time settlement mechanism, DLT mechanism, and it offers banks a faster and a more cost-effective mechanism to make international payments in any fiat currency with associated settlement. Now, as we scroll down a little bit here, I do want to explain in the solution here how they state the easily configured business rules within Volante's VolPay Ripple Processor Module. Payments can be processed via traditional correspondent banking channels such as SWIFT, or alternatively, it may be routed automatically via Ripple Connect to the Ripple Distributed Settlement Network. And what is that saying? That's saying basically that SWIFT can run on this system, or it can switch over into Ripple's Distributed Settlement Network. Are you excited yet? So the solution includes a growing library of configurable message transformations from all the domestic and international payment message formats maintained by Volante. So the VolPay Ripple Processor Module also ensures that a full audit history of payments processed via Ripple is recorded, including those that are routed to Ripple for processing, but are not executed perhaps due to, example, non-acceptance of quoted FX rates or fees. So the Ripple interface solution can be deployed in various ways. It can be deployed on a bank's existing enterprise service, their BIS, the ESB architecture, sitting between the bank's payments processor and external payments channels. It can be integrated into a bank's existing payment hub, providing a simple mechanism to initiate Ripple payments, or as a standalone payments pre-processor interfacing to the bank's payment hub. So to me, this is extremely bullish, very exciting. And here, if you're able to view your screen, let me just zoom in, because I know a lot of you are on your mobile phone, and please do not be looking. If you're working or driving, always be safe and view it again later. So here, the VolPay Ripple Processor Module shows a clear definition of how it works through the Ripple system, and it's very exciting. The immediate payment sent through on number 4. Once rates, fees are approved, the Volante Ripple Processor Module initiates the Ripple payment process, and Ripple confirms the payment to the beneficiary bank. And that's where Ripple shines, and is just amazing focus and design is within the wholesale enterprise and institutional level of the two-tier financial system. All right, guys, I hope that helped share a little bit of perspective how I see this and the reasons I see them for the layout of, let's go back to the beginning of how they're attacking Bitcoin. Because if they're getting into that, they're concerned with the central bank digital currencies, how that could create a conflict there as well. And from an investor's perspective, as he states here, the reason they're going to clamp down that on is because it's competition. But now from the opposing side, the reason his discussion is because it becomes vulnerable to majority tax near its maximum supply. And again, you have the speed and the efficiency and the safety and security of assets that move extremely fast, like XRP and XLM. And here, directly from the Bank for International Settlement, you have the digital currencies and the future of the monetary system. Again, you see, we are the future, are invested into the future financial system. Here we have President Biden. He's freezing the crypto wallet regulations. Immediately after that, Apple updates the securities vulnerabilities within their digital wallets. Here we have regulation. And again, the public policy for big techs and finance, again from the Bank for International Settlement. It is then basically dubbed the Data Network Activities, or DNA loop, which gives the big techs an established platform and a head start when they venture into the financial systems. Again, getting more clarity as we move along throughout the year. Then we have more partnerships and more expansion within Stellar, with Signal, with Wire, within the ParaHub. And then we have Ripple, former board, possibly becoming the next US OCC. And then we had the previous, who might just become a Ripple employee, as it tends to go that way, back and forth. So to me, that is very exciting. Then we have Citi expanding and extending its partnership with Volante for the reasoning of ISO 20022 migration. And who is 20022 regulated and approved? None other than Ripple. And then within their system, it's absolutely designed and integrated to make the new system much more fast. And it has the capabilities for Swift to perform on top of it, or for it to run alongside of it. If you are invested in XRP, or if you are invested in XLM, you should be very excited with this news. As I was struggling a little bit to stay focused, for me it's very exciting because I understand that XRP is designed for wholesale as its focus, and that XLM is designed for retail as its focus. And again, there are other assets that will connect to these to make this run seamlessly and efficient, but I wanted to point out the perspectives of these as they were directly connected and correlated to the conversation. So now imagine for a moment if the central banks get their way, as we've shown in this article, and we've actually shown over months the attack has already begun on Bitcoin. So imagine the central banks are successful, as the Bank for International Settlements head Augustin Carstens states and warns. Imagine if Bitcoin is brought down, all of that excessive volume of liquidity that is already put into Bitcoin will have to go somewhere. And if the focus does narrow down to the central bank digital currencies on the wholesale and retail aspect of things, there's nothing greater and more fitting of those two perfect positions than Ripple's XRP for wholesale and Stellar's XLM for retail. Now imagine if he's successful and breaks down Bitcoin, and that money goes somewhere, and those two become the focus of the new financial system. Imagine the ROI on your investment as a XRP and or XLM investor. All right, guys, I hope you're having a great day. And remember, it's not financial advice. It's for entertainment purposes only. But before I go, I want to leave you with a final thought. It is never too late to be what you might have been. Much love, and we will catch you in the next one.